My mantra to salespeople, especially as they go through their first year, second year, remember your job is to interrupt with value. Especially if you're cold calling. We hear about multi-threading. Okay, we're going to set the sequence up. Then we're going to do a manual LinkedIn, InMail. Now, all of a sudden, InMail is flooded and no one's getting email. Now it's back to pick up the phone. Then there's social selling. Regardless of the medium we're using, we have to interrupt with value. Very quickly get to the value proposition.
I love it.
So
that's just, step number one, most basic. Provide the value they need to hear.
Yeah, it's something that I came up with of interrupt with value, especially knowing there are prime times of day, prime selling hours. A salesperson, today's Monday when we're talking, salesperson said to me very early this morning, Monday's hard. I said, really? Well, I have looked at sales organizations where most productivity happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in a 5-day Monday to Friday work week. What happened to Monday and Friday? The people that you would reach on a Monday morning by cold call are already at work. They're of the mind to be at work. Some people hide behind emails on Monday mornings. I shared with him one of my favorite sales 30 years ago. It was a Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. I literally just told him the story. Friday afternoon, heading into, in America, the 4th of July holiday weekend. And it was a customer that I had on the fence, and it was 4 p.m. And he said, the fact that you're calling on 4 o'clock on a Friday before a holiday, I have to give you this sale. And his salesperson, he said, I wish my salespeople would pick up the phone at 4 o'clock on a Friday on a holiday weekend. And this was before mobile phones. So it's again, that was a coaching moment. A salesperson trying to say, I have a tough day ahead of me, listening to him and saying, how do you think you're going to handle today? And what do you think you could do differently? And how do you change your mindset? And I offered him some coaching, but also an anecdote to demonstrate some credibility of I've done this, but also encourage him to find his own activities. Because the ultimate test of a salesperson is what they're doing when no one's looking. Do they have that discipline to do things on their own? To an extreme, that's the lone wolf out of the challenger sale. The lone wolves are often very, very successful, but hard to cross-train new hires with a lone wolf. It's extra baggage. And the lone wolves usually figure it out what works for them after a lot of struggle that's not really replicable for someone else. I do it through their manager. What I've found as an enabler, getting things done through the person that hires and fires, who does not only pipeline reviews on the financial part of managing a team, but the coaching, the hiring, and having a plan through that manager. What I've learned is don't do the training without the manager being involved. Make a plan with the manager and then prescribe wellness regimens for each of them. So I may not be able to teach an octopus how to feed like a shark, but there are some things that the octopus could learn and the dolphin could learn. We've got a couple of whales, every organization does, but do we have more dolphins? Most salespeople out of DISC are the eyes, right? And they're expressive and they seek praise and recognition. So I see the world is full of, a lot of dolphins, some sharks, some jellyfish, some octopi, and then an occasional whale. But I have to figure out that sea animal, that mammal, or maybe it's not a mammal, and sometimes a beautiful lobster at the bottom just trying to scoop up some deals. They have an aquarium.
Yeah.
How do I make a plan for their shark and their octopus? But then also say, okay, manager here in this part of the world. Let's just look at the other aquarium. I'm not saying you're frenemies, but let's look, maybe there's some ways to adapt to global warming, right? So there are some things that perhaps we could do and cross-train and not keep those aquariums separate from each other. Let's learn from each other. Maybe there's some coral reef health. I don't know, we could go on and on with the ocean analogy, but I think the key is to be lethal with my time. I can't waste a lot of time, but I also have to get things done through managers who hire and fire. That's critical because someone might be struggling or succeeding in other parts of their portfolio that I don't see. I may see it on Salesforce, but there may be something else that manager of a frontline manager is doing with their team. And I'm part of that manager's plan, getting things done. Enablers, we're always challenged to do more with less, especially those of us that are solo practitioners. I need to get stuff done through senior leadership down to the managers, and then get buy-in from the individual contributors.
Beautiful.
So I've got to get it done. I've got to be smart with my insights, my recommendations, and doing that with the senior leaders down to those managers, so we're consistent on what we're seeing and what the plan should be.